The waters around Mado Island are treasure troves where 30,000 relics have been found. Still, the sea is rich with traces connecting the present to the past. Let's take a journey to the sea of historical treasures. Adoption provides numerous children with loving homes. However, domestic adoptions in Korea have been in steep decline for years. We look into the efforts and social change needed to increase the number of domestic adoptions. Historical Japanese industrial facilities were forced labor camps for numerous Koreans. These facilities have now been recommended for inscription on the UNESCO list of World Heritage Sites. We take a deeper look into the situation and reflect on how we should respond. May and June is the peak season for outdoor activities, and it is also when the greatest number of bicycle accidents take place. Bicycle accidents have risen 50% in the past 3 years. Today, we bring you a report on safety tips for cyclists.
The sea around Mado Island is beautiful as it holds treasure within.
내가 보물섬입니다.
그죠. 뭐가 나올지 궁금하죠. 좀 이쪽 마도 근처 해역에서만 약 3만여 점의 유물들이 나왔고요.
It is where historical artifacts lie, waiting to tell their stories. We joined the excavation team on a treasure hunt. This is Taean-gun in Chungcheongnam-do province, renowned for its beauty and attractions. Among them are maritime artifacts discovered in its waters. In May 2007, octopuses led to the discovery of over 20,000 artifacts. The sea around Mado Island is a maritime treasure trove. The excavated artifacts are precious resources that show what life was like back then.
정말 사실적으로 조각이 잘 돼서 어떤 그 조각에서 표현할 수 있는 모든 걸 표현했다. 이제 그렇게 얘기할 수 있을 정도로 아주 작품이 우수합니다.
We set sail for Mado Island, where numerous treasures still remain. Navigators are at high alert, checking the surroundings for dangers due to the conditions in these waters.
암초도 많이 있고 물살도 거세고 이러다 보니까 조류가 상당히 셉니다. 항해하기 위험할 정도로 셉니다. 그러니까 이제 난파가 많이 된 것으로 알고 있습니다.
Old documents show that many ships sank around Mado Island due to strong waves, rocks, and thick fog. And now, many of the wrecks and artifacts are being found. Nurian first set sail in 2012 as Asia's first ship designed for maritime artifact excavation. It stays anchored for a few days on excavations. This is the Sea of Mado Island.
우리 조상들의 보물을 찾는다는 기분이랄까? 굉장히 설레고 그런 기분이 있죠.
The divers begin underwater surveying for grid installation on a Joseon-era shipwreck. A Joseon-era celadon was first discovered by divers who dug deeper to reveal part of the ship, now named Mado No. 4.
마도 4호선 같은 경우는 작년에 그 선체 내부를 조사하는 중에 분청사기 2점이 출수가 됐어요. 그래서 그 분청사기라는 것은 조선시대 이제 초기에 나온 그 자기이기 때문에 또 여지껏 저희들이 이상하게도 발굴한 배들이 대부분이 고려시대 배거든요. 그래서 이제 첫 번째로 나온 조선시대 배기 때문에 저희들이 상당히 기대를 하고 있습니다.
All eyes are on the treasures held within as it is the first Joseon-era shipwreck to be excavated.
깊숙이 묻혀 있어. 이 팔 이렇게 해도 안 들어가. 안 닿아.
Challenging conditions in the waters of Mado pose difficulties for excavation.
상황이 어때요, 바닷속은? 물살이 세갖고 거울 때문에 어두워요. 지금은 윤곽을 모르고 같더라고요.
This is the Crabster, the world's first maritime excavation robot developed for challenging diving conditions.
도자기를 인양을 해서 올리는 실험까지 진행을 했고, 그리고 금속 탐지기를 이용해서 해저면에 매설되어 있는 금속 유물을 탐지하는 실험까지 진행했습니다.
It is fitted with LEDs and sonar detection that acts as eyes, an ultrasonic camera, and optical camera.
잠수하시는 분들이 장시간 머물 수 없는 이런 서해의 악조건 환경에서도 이 로봇이 대신해서 지속적인 탐사와 그리고 좀 더 정밀한 탐사를 진행하는 데 큰 도움을 줄 수 있을 것으로 생각을 하고 있습니다.
This is the Taean Preservation Center. Over 2,000 artifacts are preserved and managed in the center. The artifacts from the ocean are first desalinated. Then they are rehardened with chemicals.
오랜 세월 그 바닷속에 있었기 때문에 말랑말랑한 이제 스펀지 상태인 목재들이 있어요. 근데 그런 목재에 약품을 첨가해서 단단하게 만들어주는 작업이 되겠습니다.
They are restored appropriately according to artifact type and state. The Mado No. 1 discovered in 2010 was restored after 800 years in the ocean based on other ancient ships and artifacts.
지금 얼마나 많은 유물들이 물 밑에 있는지 저희들도 아직 가늠할 수 없고요. 앞으로 조사를 통해서 밝혀지게 될 겁니다.
Still, the sea is full of treasures that link the present and the past. We look forward to hearing their stories through continued maritime excavations.
Korea has the lowest birth rate in the world, yet 2 babies are abandoned every 3 days. It's been 70 years since the Korean War, but the nation is still sending orphans overseas. We look into the realities of adoption in Korea. May 11th is Adoption Day in Korea. The week was filled with activities to promote adoption. It was a week of celebration for adoptive families. We met an adoptive family at the event. This is Chu Jin-young, adoptive parent of 2 daughters. Her beautiful daughters are now 14 and 11 years old.
저희 큰딸, 우리 야무진 큰딸 최현진이고요. 예, 운동을 아주 잘하는 우리 최현서 막내딸입니다. 이거 그만 보고. 엄마 이거 봐봐. 엄마. 많은 사람들이 생각하는 거는 내가 낳은 자식도 아닌데 다른 사람이 낳은 자식을 키운다는 것이 뭐 훌륭하다 막 이런 이야기를 많이 하는데 사실은 우리가 이제 그분들은 입양을 잘 모르기 때문에 그런 이제 선입견이나 편견을 갖고 계신 거고 막상 입양을 해서 가족이 되다 보면 사실 그런 거는 아무 상관이 없는 그냥 평범한 가족이거든요.
In Korea, adopted children are called children of the heart. Han Yeon-hee has 9 children of the heart and 1 genetic son. Although the adopted children use their birth father's surnames, they don't feel different.
낳은 애하고 입양한 애가 동일하게 사랑스럽다. 이거는 좀 아니다. 기대할 수 없는 거다. 그렇게 생각을 했는데 6개월짜리 남자애를 입양을 했는데 남편이나 저나 이게 20대에 낳은 아들보다 더 이쁜 거야. 어떻게 이런 일이 생길 수 있나. 우리가 너무 놀란 거죠.
제가 그냥 개인적으로 느끼기에는 참 복된 가정? 왜냐면 하나밖에 없는 가정이잖아요. 이렇게 만난 게. 그리고 다 각자 이렇게 입양 오기 전에 어떤 삶을 살았을지 모르겠지만 각자의 삶을 살고 만난 거잖아요. 그러면서 다 한 식구가 되고 가족이 된 게 참 복되면서도 행운이 있는 가족 같은 느낌 많이 크게 들어요.
Overseas adoption grew once again in 2014, with only 45% of adoptions being domestic. A 3-year-old Korean adoptee had been murdered by his abusive stepfather, while another had become an illegal immigrant.
한국에서 미국으로 입양된 크랩스 씨. 양부모의 학대와 폭행에 시달리다 7년 만에 버림을 받았고 두 번째로 입양된 가정에서도 상황은 마찬가지였습니다.
Perhaps it's time to rethink overseas adoptions. How do overseas adoptees feel? Clapp came to Korea in search of his roots. He talks about the difficulties he faced in his formative years.
The biggest difficulty growing up was racism. Growing up, I grew up in a city with primarily white and black people, and I was the only Asian male at my school. So that was difficult, and a lot of times my parents would get odd looks because I was an Asian child and my mom and dad were white.
He says, given a choice, he would have chosen to stay in Korea. There are those who point to the amendment of the Act on Special Cases of Adoption for the decline in domestic adoption. Birth parents have to first file birth reports, and adoptive parents have to get permits, making it difficult to keep adoptions secret. This is an article from the Washington Post in 2013, which labels Korea as an exporter of adoptees. Korea is a peaceful, prosperous, and developed country, and yet it is known as an exporter of children. In the past, children were orphaned and abandoned in the war. Now they are sent overseas by unwed mothers.
국내 입양을 우선시 대하는 것은 당연하게도 본인의 어떤 문화, 언어, 정체성 이런 부분들이 더 밀착돼 있는, 더 밀접한 곳에서 입양이 선택되는 것이 너무나 당연하다.
May 11th was designated as Adoption Day to promote domestic adoptions and is in its 10th year this year. Adoption is called a blessing and a gift. But more than slogans, we need a change in systems and public awareness.
During the Japanese colonial era, numerous Koreans were taken to forced labor camps.
자기네들 시큰 부려먹고 부려먹어가면서 해놓고서 이제 와서 그냥 난 모르나 하는 식으로다가 그렇게 해가지고 되게 되냐 이 말이요. 우리 어머님 아주 눈물로 세상을 살았어요. 하루하루. 형은 죽었는지 살았는지 지금 뭐 소식도 없다.
Now, these places imprinted into their memories are about to become World Heritage Sites. Japan intends to inscribe 23 facilities as World Heritage Sites. Among these, 7 are former forced labor camps. The Korean government expressed its displeasure immediately.
유네스코를 정치화한 책임은 일본에 있다는 점을 분명히 하고자 합니다.
The victims who suffered untold abuses are still alive. It goes without saying that the victims and their families are outraged, as is the Korean nation.
Hashima Island has dark side of history, but Japan is just hiding the dark side of the history and just arguing that it is the symbol of modern industrialization of Japan. So this may cause a certain conflicts with victim states under the Japanese colonialism.
Hashima Island is about 20 kilometers from Nagasaki port. It is also called the Warship Island for the resemblance. To forced Korean laborers, it was the island of death. As many as 60,000 Koreans were forced into Japan's steel mills, shipyards, and coal mines. Most of them perished in the harsh conditions. Could this place be worthy of inscription as a UNESCO World Heritage Site?
물론 그 세계 유산이라고 하는 것이 플러스적인 유산만에 등재하는 것은 아닙니다. 마이너스적인 부분 때문에 등재가 된 사례도 있습니다. 독일에서도 아우슈비츠 비르케나우 강제 수용소가 1979년에 세계 유산으로 등재가 됐습니다.
The Auschwitz is a place to reflect on past atrocities. It has been preserved so that shameful crimes against humanity will not be forgotten.
als Mitläufer, als Wegschauende und stillschweigende Mitwisser.
Japanese intentions are different. It hopes to proudly display the sites of its industrial revolution and modernization.
我が国としてはあくまで1850年から1910年、これまでの間のですね、産業遺産として顕著な普遍的な価値、これに着目をして、この本遺産をですね。
For many Japanese people, the pending historical issues, well, some of them are quite tiring routines, like here they go again. But this World Heritage is something new and has less room for distorting the historical facts. So I think this is a great opportunity for Japanese people to know and accept the historical facts that the Japanese government is trying to hide.
In Japan, tour agencies are advertising in newspapers. With the possible UNESCO inscription, tourists to the industrial facilities multiplied to 5 times that of the same period last year. Final inscription seems likely as it has been endorsed by a UNESCO advisory panel. Is there nothing we can do as the shameful history of wartime atrocities are glorified as World Heritage?
기가 막히잖아. 이럴 수가 있냐고. 그러고서 문화재에서 돈 벌어 처먹겠다고? 그런 씨. 어휴. 아, 나 정말 용서를 못해. 자네도 이거 용서 못해요.
Korean and Japanese governments should have a thorough discussion regarding this matter. And also, Korea should make the most of this opportunity to let the world know what has been hidden by the Japanese government.
We can make good use of this kind of situation. If it is not listed in the World Heritage List, it can be easily destroyed by the Japanese government whenever they want. But it should be protected it should be protected by the international community after the registration of this site. So we can continuously argue that this site contains dark side of the history.
The UNESCO World Heritage Committee will make its final decision in late June. Should the sites be inscribed without mention of the forced laborers, it would be akin to absolving the crime of wartime atrocities.
Cycling is a fun and accessible springtime activity for young and old alike. However, safety is a huge issue on the roads. We learn about rising bicycle accidents in May and June, as well as some safety measures. There are 12 million cyclists, meaning 1 out of 5 Koreans ride the bicycle. How many of them end up in accidents? 2014 statistics show a 50% rise over 4 years, and accidents are concentrated on May and June, the best time for outdoor activities. Road safety laws categorize bicycles as vehicles. However, people think cyclists are pedestrians, and this leads to accidents. Collisions with cars can even cause death. More than half of bicycle accidents in Seoul were involving cars. Is there no way for cars and bicycles to coexist?
우리나라처럼 이렇게 자전거와 자동차가 도로를 겸용하는 그런 경우에는 특히 그 자동차 운전자들의 배려와 안전 의식이 자전거 안전에 무엇보다도 중요하다고 하겠습니다.
This is footage from an actual bicycle accident. Although both vehicles had followed traffic rules, the obstructed view led to disaster. We went to the Seoul Metropolitan Police Agency to learn about this year's bicycle safety campaign.
우리 서울청에서는 자전거 사고 관련해서 홍보를 지속적으로 좀 실시를 하고 있고요. 그 전단지도 약 2만 매 정도를 제작을 해서 시민들한테 배포하고 있습니다. 아울러 그 각 경로당이나 각 유치원, 학교를 방문했을 때 자전거도 차량의 하나 일종이라는 것을 인식의 전환을 시켜주는 교육을 지속적으로 현장 교육을 실시를 하고 있습니다.
We're at Hangang River to follow a bicycle club which practices safe riding in the city. They keep to stop lines, center lines, and designated roads, and carry out all safety checks, a must so as to be prepared for emergencies and ride safely.
오늘은 저희 자전거로 출퇴근하는 사람들이 서울 도심을 달리면서 자전거가 그 준법을 지키고 교통질서를 지키고 그런 와중에도 그 대중교통과 함께 연합해서 우리가 이동수단으로서 사용할 수 있다는 걸 보여주기 위한 그 랠리를 비경제행 부문으로 랠리를 진행을 하는 거고요.
Supported by the police, they began their urban rally to show that bicycles are safe vehicles too. The rally is a success with the help of cars and pedestrians. But there's room for improvement. The right lane is unavailable. Although they escape danger using the left lane, they run into another unexpected danger. The members have developed a hand signal system to avoid danger. They hope to spread public awareness of the signals.
장애물에 대한 부분들이 잘 눈에 보이지 않습니다. 자, 도로에 대한 구멍이라든가 그다음에 어떤 방해물 같은 게 있을 때는 바닥을 주의하라는 수신호고요. 앞에 어떤 방해세를 있거나 방해물이 있을 때 자, 서행을 합시다. 그다음에 정지입니다. 앞에 사람이 하면 맨 뒤에 보이지 않거든요. 그럼 뒤에 사람들이 자동적으로 의무적으로 전달을 해줍니다. 그러면 앞에 사람의 수신호를 보고 같이 이동을 하게 되는 거죠.
As crossings are pedestrian paths, cyclists must get off their bikes and walk. Using both ordinary roads and bicycle roads, the members practice safe riding. They complete the rally in 5 hours of riding. We asked them for their thoughts on safe riding in their daily lives.
아무래도 자전거도 사람이 타게 되면 차로 들어가기 때문에 교통 법규라든지 안전을 최우선으로 생각하고 있습니다.
자전거를 안 타는 분들은 이 자전거가 어떻게 대한 예의라는 거를 전혀 모르거든요. 그래서 그런 것도 좀 이렇게 좀 표지판이라든지 그런 걸 만들어서 어떻게 이렇게 가야 된다는 걸 더 정확하게 했으면 좋겠습니다.
Cycling is a safe and eco-friendly way to get around. To create a better cycling environment, we should cultivate safety-focused driving etiquette and promote the acceptance of bicycles as vehicles on the road.